40 days. 40 consecutive days of rain across parts of the United Kingdom, and right now, a second band of heavy rainfall is barreling toward the southwest. But here is what nobody is talking about. By Friday, temperatures could plunge 8 degrees below average. Saturday morning, widespread frost, ice on every road. And the snow, it is already on its way. If you live anywhere in the United Kingdom, the next 7 days are about to hit you with a 1-2 punch that we have not seen in weeks. Stick with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal exactly when the coldest air arrives at your doorstep, city by city, hour by hour. And if you drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from, I will make sure your area gets covered in our next update. So let us get straight into it. Right now, as of Tuesday, the 10th of February 2026, a low-pressure system is feeding moisture directly from the Atlantic into southwest England. This is not a light drizzle. We are talking 15 to 30 millimeters of rain today alone. In some spots, across eastern Scotland, totals could reach 40 to 60 millimeters by midnight. To put that in perspective, that is nearly a month's worth of February rainfall landing in a single day on ground that is already completely saturated. Rivers are full. The soil cannot absorb another drop. And yet, here comes another 40 to 60 millimeters. Now, here is where it gets interesting, and do not skip ahead because the timing on this matters enormously for your plans this week. Tuesday morning through to lunchtime, the first band of rain pushes into South Wales and central southern England. If you are in Bristol, Bath, Cardiff, Exeter, expect persistent rain from around 9 in the morning right through to early afternoon. By midday, that rain reaches the Midlands. Birmingham, you are looking at a wet lunch hour and a miserable afternoon commute. London and the southeast, you actually catch a bit of a break today. You are sitting in a drier slot between two weather systems. Enjoy it. It will not last. But here is the twist. While the south deals with rain, eastern Scotland is getting hammered from a completely different direction. A Scandinavian cold block, basically a massive wall of high pressure sitting over northern Europe, is acting like a dam. It is trapping bands of rain over the same areas again and again and again. Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen, you have been living under this relentless conveyor belt of moisture for weeks. And today, another 15 to 30 millimeters is heading your way, with some spots picking up closer to 60. The Met Office has issued rain warnings from 9 in the morning until midnight for eastern Scotland. And here is the critical detail. Tomorrow, Wednesday, another warning kicks in for the exact same region, another 20 to 30 millimeters, potentially up to 60, again, in the worst hit areas. Think about that for a moment. 60 millimeters of rain falling on land that has already absorbed 40 consecutive days of rainfall. The River Tay, the River Dee, the River Don, all running high. Flood defences across Tayside and Aberdeenshire are being tested to their limits. And the problem is not just the volume, it is the persistence. Each individual rainfall event might not seem catastrophic on its own. 20 to 30 millimeters? Normally that would barely make the local news. But when you stack event after event after event on top of weeks of saturation, that is when you get real problems. That is when fields turn into lakes, roads become impassable, and communities start feeling genuinely exhausted by it all. Now, I promised you something different was coming, and this is where the plot twist hits. Do not miss the next section, because this changes everything. By Tuesday evening, the wind direction starts to shift. You might not notice it at first, but the breeze picks up a subtle easterly component. That is cold air from Scandinavia beginning to nudge westward. And that tiny shift has massive consequences. By Tuesday night, the rain over the Scottish Highlands starts turning to snow above 300 to 400 meters. By Wednesday afternoon, eastern Scotland could see 5 to 10 centimetres of snow accumulating on higher ground. The Cairngorms, the Grampians, the routes over the A9, the A93, these could all be affected. Let me walk you through this city by city because the timing really matters. Glasgow, Tuesday stays mild, around 10 to 11 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, the temperature barely changes in the city centre, hovering around 9 to 10. But by Thursday morning, you will feel the difference. Temperatures start dropping sharply through the day. Friday morning, Glasgow wakes up to around 2 to 3 degrees at best. Saturday, a harsh frost, potentially -2 to -3 overnight. And with all that recent rainfall sitting on roads and pavements, ice becomes a serious concern, Edinburgh. Very similar trajectory, but you get hit with the rain harder on Tuesday and Wednesday. 40 to 60 millimeters possible over those 2 days. Then the cold arrives Thursday evening. Friday, daytime highs struggle to reach 3 degrees. Saturday morning, a deep frost. The combination of standing water and sudden freezing temperatures means Edinburgh could see significant ice problems. Manchester, Tuesday is wet but mild, around 10 to 11 degrees. Wednesday, showers rather than persistent rain, with some breaks in the cloud, a brief window of relief. Then Thursday, the temperature drops noticeably. Friday highs around 4 to 5 degrees, a cold weekend ahead, but not as brutal as Scotland, Birmingham. You catch rain on Tuesday afternoon and evening. Wednesday brings scattered showers. Thursday, a noticeable chill arrives. Friday, expect highs of around 4 to 5 degrees. Saturday morning frost is likely. London and the southeast. Here is the surprise, you are actually the last to feel the cold punch. Tuesday and Wednesday stay relatively mild, 11 to 12 degrees, some showers, but nothing relentless. Thursday, rain pushes through from the south, possibly heavy, and then Friday, the cold air finally arrives. Highs drop to around 5 to 6 degrees. Saturday morning, frost even in the capital. For London, that is a drop of 6 to 7 degrees in just 48 hours, Cardiff and South Wales. Heavy rain returns Tuesday morning. Wednesday, more showers with gusty winds. Thursday sees the transition begin. Friday, noticeably colder, around 4 to 5 degrees. Cornwall gets another dose of wet weather Wednesday afternoon before the cold arrives. Belfast and Northern Ireland. Damp conditions persist through Tuesday and Wednesday. Not the heaviest rainfall, but that constant drizzle that just never seems to stop. The sort of weather that soaks through your jacket before you even realize it is raining properly. Thursday into Friday, the cold air sweeps in. Expect frost by Saturday morning. Roads in rural areas could be particularly treacherous where drainage has been overwhelmed by weeks of rain. Now, before we get to the big reveal, let me quickly touch on wind. It is easy to forget about wind when we are focused on rain and cold, but it matters. Tuesday and Wednesday see gusty conditions, particularly across the southwest and exposed coastal areas. Gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour are possible along the Cornish coast and across the Bristol Channel. That wind has a strong southwesterly component initially, which is why it stays relatively mild. But as we head into Thursday and Friday, the wind swings northerly. And a northerly wind in February feels completely different. It cuts right through you. Even at 5 or 6 degrees, a northerly wind can make it feel closer to zero. Factor that in if you are planning to be outdoors this weekend. Now, here is the part I told you to wait for, the 5-minute promise. Let me give you the exact timeline of this cold outbreak. Wednesday night into Thursday is when the really heavy rain makes its final push across southern England. At the same time, northern Scotland starts seeing snow mixing in with the rain at lower levels. Thursday through Friday, the rain belt sinks southward, and behind it, Arctic air floods in from the north. This is not a gentle cooling. The upper air temperatures drop to -8 to -10 degrees Celsius. That is bitterly cold air by any standard. Friday is the transition day. Snow showers push across Scotland and could become more widespread. Even parts of northern England could see a wintry mix. Saturday, the 14th of February, is shaping up to be the coldest day. Daytime highs of just 2 to 3 degrees across much of the country, 4 to 5 in the south at best. Overnight frost is almost guaranteed everywhere. Sunday stays cold, but just a touch milder than Saturday. And here is where it gets really fascinating for the longer term. Do not scroll away because this next part affects the rest of February. The models are showing that this cold snap only lasts about 2 to 3 days in its most intense form. By Monday into Tuesday the following week, milder Atlantic air tries to push back in from the southwest. Southern areas warm up first, perhaps back to 7 or 8 degrees. But here is the catch. Northern Scotland, the Highlands, the borders, they stay locked in cold air. The jet stream tracks far to the south, and that sets up a real battle zone right across the middle of the United Kingdom. Warm air pushing north, cold air pushing south. And where those two air masses collide, that is where we could see some quite significant weather events. Snow along the boundary, particularly across northern England and southern Scotland. Heavy rain further south. It is a classic late winter pattern. The global forecast system model is even hinting at another northerly plunge later in February. If that verifies, we could see a second cold snap, potentially even more intense. The European Centre model shows something similar, but slightly less aggressive. Either way, the message is clear. The rest of February is not going to be boring. Now, here is some important context that puts this whole pattern into perspective. What we are seeing right now is actually a classic late winter transition. The stratospheric polar vortex is starting to weaken. When that happens, cold air that normally stays bottled up over the Arctic can break free and spill southward across the United Kingdom. It happens most years to some degree. But this year, we have got an unusual complication. All that rainfall, all that saturated ground, all those swollen rivers, that is the setup that makes a sudden cold snap genuinely disruptive rather than just uncomfortable. Frozen standing water is a completely different hazard compared to a cold snap arriving on dry ground. That is why this week matters more than a typical February chill. The models also agree on something else that is worth paying attention to. The jet stream is tracking unusually far south. That is what keeps dragging these low-pressure systems across the United Kingdom one after another. And even when the cold snap passes and milder air returns, that southerly jet stream track means the unsettled weather is not going anywhere. We are looking at 7, 8, 9-degree highs into the third week of February. Below average, still feeling raw, and still with plenty of rain on the cards, especially further south. Now, here is what this means practically for your week. If you have travel plans for Friday or Saturday, especially in Scotland or Northern England, check conditions before you leave. Snow on higher routes, ice on lower roads, reduced visibility. If you are a gardener, any tender plants that survived the mild winter so far need protection by Thursday night. If you have elderly neighbors, this is the time to check on them. The sudden shift from 11 or 12 degrees to 2 or 3 degrees catches people off guard every single time. For those of you who have been desperate for the rain to stop, here is your silver lining. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking significantly drier for most areas. Yes, it will be cold. Yes, you will need to wrap up, but there will be sunshine, actual, genuine sunshine. After 40 days of grey skies and relentless rain, that alone is worth celebrating. The trade-off is simple. You get dry, bright weather, but you need an extra layer and you need to watch for ice on the pavements, especially first thing in the morning. Let me repeat the key dates because this is critical. Tuesday and Wednesday, more heavy rain, especially eastern Scotland and southwest England. Wednesday night, the transition begins. Thursday, cold air arrives from the north. Rain turns to snow on higher ground. Friday, widespread cold, wintry showers possible, especially in the north. Saturday, the coldest day, frost everywhere, ice risk high, but dry and sunny for many. Sunday, still cold, but beginning to ease slightly. Next week, milder air fights back from the south, but northern areas stay cold with a risk of further wintry conditions. Now, I need to let you in on something. Next week, S-Forecast has the potential for a major weather event that the models are only just starting to pick up on. I am not going to reveal it today because the data needs another couple of runs to confirm. But if you have been watching this channel, you know I do not say that lightly. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on because when that update drops, you are going to want to see it immediately. And one more thing, drop a comment below telling me your town or city. I read every single one. And in the next video, I will give specific forecasts for the areas you request. Whether you are in Inverness or Ipswich, Swansea or Sheffield, let me know and I will cover your patch. The more specific you are, the better I can help you prepare. Stay safe out there this week. The rain is not done with us yet, but that cold snap, it is coming faster than most people realize. Keep your phone charged, keep your car fuel tank topped up. And if you are in Scotland or Northern England, seriously consider whether any journeys on Friday and Saturday are essential before you set off. The combination of ice, snow on higher ground, and freezing fog in the valleys could make driving treacherous in places. Remember the key numbers to hold in your head. 40 to 60 millimeters of rain across eastern Scotland on Tuesday. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow above 300 meters by Wednesday night. Temperatures dropping to just 2 to 3 degrees by Saturday. And a frost so sharp it could cause widespread ice on any untreated surface. I will see you in the next update where we break down exactly what those models are showing for late February. Trust me, you do not want